Although I have never seen a young person become hornier from taking it, I have seen that happen to older people. The young people, of course, are generally not deficit in acetylcholine, but since it does drop off with age, older people may find that their sexual appetites increase upon taking 3 grams of choline a day or 80 grams of lecithin.
How do you spell the first one?
C-H-O-L-I-N-E.
Okay. And how do you spell the second one?
Not sure about that.
Lecithin.
That sounds right.
Well, isn't that in candy bars as a binder or an emulsifier?
It's an emulsifier, yes. However, you don't get nearly enough.
Yeah, you get huge quantities in capsules. They look like vitamin E capsules.
Right, now,
big capsules. I take about 3 a day.
Yeah, we're talking about 80 grams a day.
You can hardly wait to get out of here, right?
That's roughly 3 ounces per day to produce this type of effects. The choline amounts are much smaller, about 3 grams, which is about 1 teaspoonful. Some people develop a fishy odor after taking choline for a couple of weeks. However, it doesn't happen with the lecithin.
Okay.
Nobody's ever complained to me. I don't know. Yeah, the problem is you talk about it on this show, and some FDA bureaucrat's going to be watching this, and they're going to run out and restrict it.
No, they can't do that. The Proxmire Amendment protects it because it's a nutrient. The burden of proof is on the FDA to show that a nutrient is hazardous before they can ban it or restrict it as a prescription
I'm
drug.
glad I hear it, because, you know, University of Texas has come up now that Thymosin is very likely to be the best bet you've got against middle age and older age cancer and senility.
Yes, it seems
you know, you got a thymus gland that disappears around age 40.
Yeah, Dr. Alan Goldstein, he's now at George Washington University
but you can't get it.
D.C.
See, the FDA won't let you have it. Not only that, but they picked 5 kids who were dying of terminal cancer, or not terminal cancer, they were dying of immune deficiencies. And by the time the FDA got around to approving letting them give it to the kids as an emergency treatment, 3 of them were already dead. The other 2, by the way, have lived perfectly normal lives. Your government protects you from these things.
Thymosin.
Yeah, thymosin. You generate it. It isn't as if it were a foreign substance.
Right. No, but as Durk says, when you get 40, 45 years old...
the thymus becomes much smaller and produces a lot less of it.
Well, it eventually disintegrates. See, you're designed to have the good grace to drop dead when your children get to childbearing age.
That, unfortunately, is true. However, once you understand physiology well enough, you can start playing a few tricks and do some readjustments and adjust your physiology so that it's as if you were younger. And in fact, if you do this to animals, they live a lot longer. You can better than double the lifespan of animals.
Are you doing that now?
Oh, yes. Sandy Shikoshius, my research associate, and I have been taking these substances for about 9 years now and monitoring the results with a battery of physiological tests. And so far, we haven't damaged ourselves. And so far, our physiological parameters look very young. For example, my total cholesterol is 91. You would expect at my age and genetic background for it to be more like 180 or so. And this is in spite of the fact that I drink about 2 quarts of milk a day, I eat lots of steak, lots of butter. I probably average 2 or 3 eggs a day. All the things that you're not supposed to do if you want to have a low cholesterol.
And
you wouldn't believe when I first met him, he looked like he was 80 years old.
In one respect, actually, I do look younger now than then. My hairline has moved forward. I was getting very early male pattern baldness. My father was quite bald on top by his mid-30s, and my hairline was receding quite badly 10 years ago. However, I studied the genetic aging clocks that are involved, found ways of interfering with it, and my hairline's now moving forward again.
What do you take?
There are a couple of things that can be done. One is to use a mixture of androgen and estrogens on the scalp. This won't cause regeneration of the missing hair, but it will block further loss because the loss is caused by the production of a hormone called dihydrotestosterone. This can be blocked with materials like testosterone cypionate and estradiol dipropionate. The other thing that you do is you put a surfactant, that is a detergent, on the scalp. I don't want to mention the name of it because I don't want to get the company into trouble. They've gotten it approved as a direct food additive. For example, salad dressings have it in there as an emulsifier. It's approved as a cosmetic ingredient. It's approved as a drug ingredient to act as an emulsifier. But since the FDA does not recognize male pattern baldness as a disease, and since they have decided just ex cathedra out of the blue without evidence that it is incurable and nothing can be done about it, they are not about to approve this material for that use. And if a lot of people write to the company, they could get them in trouble.
Well, after we finish, will you tell me what it is? And if anybody wants to avail themselves of this, they can go ahead and get it by themselves.
Sure.
Do you do anything to make yourself look younger?
Well, not probably as elaborate as he does. I take a fistful of pills a day, choline and lecithin, among other things, and nicotinide and B12 because I broke my hand last spring, and I get tingling in there if I don't.
You know, what is the mystique about B12? This is supposed to be...
No mystique to me. It just stops the tingling in the fingers from where I get a little blood blockage here from the... It's set nicely, but I get callus in there, and the hand tingles when I write if I don't take it, and it's kind of uncomfortable. So I take it, and it doesn't do it. That's it's empirical for me.
Yeah, B12 is required to synthesize nucleic acids, and of course you have to make these before you can make proteins, which of course do the various things in your body. It is required, for example, for learning and memory, and there are some experiments in animals that show that increased doses of B12 result in improved mental performance in the animals.
See, what you're trying to defeat is evolution, huh?
That's right. That's exactly what you're doing.
Evolution designed you to die at 40. Yeah. Your teeth come out, your thymus falls apart, you get cancer, and your immune reaction can't...
I wouldn't necessarily agree with the 40, but it's certainly, you're certainly designed to die after your children have become old enough to reproduce.
Yeah. Well,
and maybe a little bit older.
What evolution wants is a spectrum. A village that has a few old people in it for conventional wisdom and so forth is likely to live well, is likely to do better than one that has none. A village that has a lot of old people in it, in primitive times now, when you're talking about primitive food-gathering societies, is going to starve to death.
That's right.
So what you want is a spectrum of life with the mean in around 40, not 70, but around 40. So that you got some live out to 70 and some of them drop dead earlier, and you want them to sort of taper off after around age 40, and that's why your teeth come out. You know, they provide you with a second set of teeth at about 8, and then some more grinders at just about the time you're going to have children to keep you alive until because that's what kills most people in primitive societies is no teeth.
They can't eat.
Can't eat, that's right. Yeah.
Now,
so we're trying to defeat evolution.
Is a span of 150 years within reason?
Yeah.
On the basis of animal experiments, it certainly is. It's possible to double or even better animal lifespan by a variety of techniques. So far, there are rats, for example, that live normally about 2 years that have been gotten up to about 8.5. Now, that's an unusual situation. However, it's not too terribly difficult to double animal lifespans. I might also point out that you don't really have to double the human lifespan to immediately, right now, to end up living to 150 or 200. All you have to do is learn enough about the aging process so that each year you age, you can de-age by 1 year. You can retard that aging process by a year. And for example, in the past 10 years, gerontological research has, if you were to apply it consistently, added a lot more than 10 years to the lifespan. In fact, I dare say in the past 10 years it would be more reasonable to say it's added, well, perhaps 20 or 30 years if you applied what has been found in the case of animal experiments. Now, at that rate, gaining 2 or 3 years for every year that passes by, you're apt to be around for a long time if you don't die from an accident.
I have to stop for commercials here, but we'll continue after these words from our NBC stations.